All right, so let's talk about why positive affirmations don't always work, especially when it comes to changing how you see yourself, right? Such as, changing your professional identity. I mean, you've probably heard that if you just replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you can reprogram your mind. But if that were true, wouldn't everyone be successful just by repeating those mantras like, I am confident, I am successful, I believe in myself, and I trust others, right? So why doesn't that work? Well, I think it's because your brain is sassy, okay? If you don't fully believe what you're telling yourself, your brain isn't just going to accept it without questioning the new information. In fact, it'll probably resist and push back even harder. So, especially when a part of you knows it's not 100% true for you. So, hello, if we haven't met yet, my name is Suzanne Fox, and I help solo entrepreneurs get out of their head and into a felt sense of clarity. And I do this through my coaching approach, Energy Mastery Solutions. So, if you've been in business for a while, your limiting beliefs aren't basic things like, I'm not worthy. Our limiting beliefs sounds more like, you know, I have to be in control of everything, or nothing will work out, or if I don't constantly hustle, I won't get new clients, or if I slow down, I'll lose momentum and everything will fall apart. Or even every time I take a risk, something goes wrong, so I have to play it safe. Does this sound familiar? Now, these beliefs didn't just come out of nowhere. They were shaped by real experiences that got stronger over time. I mean, maybe you did let go a little bit in the past and things did fall apart. Or maybe you slowed down once and clients stopped coming in, right? I mean, maybe you took a big risk before and it backfired. So when you try to slap a new belief on top of that old history, your brain's like, no, that's not how it goes. Your brain isn't just resisting change for the fun of it, it's protecting you from what it sees as a threat. And in my opinion, here's where some of the common mindset advice, it's a bit lazy. So we're told to just identify a limiting belief and replace it with something better, right? But when you do that, you're actually rejecting a part of yourself. You're saying, nope, this belief is bad. I reject it. I can't let myself feel this. I can't think this because it's stopping me from getting what I want, right? And then what happens next is you shove it down and pretend like it's gone. But it's not gone. It's just hidden, right? But it's still running the show in the background. For example, you might have said a positive affirmation to yourself like, clients come to me easily. But deep down, if your real belief is, I have to hustle 24/7 or my business will fail, your nervous system is going to panic the moment you slow down. And why is this? Well, because that belief wasn't actually addressed. It was just covered up with fake positivity. And I know this firsthand because I used to be stuck in this exact cycle. When I first started my business in 2004, I felt like I had to control everything just to keep things moving. And if I wasn't working constantly, networking, marketing, doing all the things, it felt like my business would collapse. And honestly, that belief wasn't too far off. I mean, it came from real experience. There were times when I hit a slow season and there were no clients, no leads, nothing for weeks. And the only thing that got me out of it was pushing harder. So my brain learned, if I stop pushing, everything will disappear. And that belief wasn't just in my head, it was in my body. Even when I wanted to slow down, to trust that things would flow, the moment I tried, I felt uneasy, I felt restless, I felt anxious because my nervous system still believed that relaxing meant failure. And I remember this one specific moment where it all hit me. I had been working nonstop, long days, constantly strategizing, feeling like I had to create every opportunity. And I thought that even though I was doing everything right, I still wasn't getting the results that I wanted. I was exhausted, I was frustrated. And at one point, I just thought, what else am I supposed to do, right? I can't push any harder. And it's like, that was my breaking point because I realized I had done this before. I had gone through this cycle so many times, hustling, burning out, hustling, and yet deep down, I knew people in my life who weren't working like this, and they were still successful. That's when I finally asked myself the real question. What if my belief about how business has to work is actually what's keeping me stuck? And that question changed everything because I wasn't failing. I was just running a program that was no longer benefiting me with where I wanted to go next in my business, right? So the grit that got me this far wasn't the same grit that was going to take me to the next level in my business. What worked before just wasn't enough anymore. But I couldn't just flip the switch and believe something new pretty much overnight, right? I had to meet myself where I was and build trust that things could work differently. And here's something most people don't talk about. This resistance isn't just happening in your mind, it's happening in your body. When you've lived with a belief for years, especially one tied to your career or safety or success, it's wired into your nervous system. And I mean, for me, I've been working since I was 12 years old, and I'm almost 53. So when you try to change a belief too fast, your body literally reacts as if you're in danger. You might feel anxious, you might feel restless, or even physically tense. That's your nervous system saying, we don't feel safe with this new belief yet. So long-lasting change doesn't happen overnight. You can't undo years, sometimes decades, of conditioning with a quick visualization or a few affirmations. It's a process, and it's a process of creating safety, going deeper, and integrating that safety until your new beliefs truly feel real. But don't worry, okay? You're not going to be stuck processing forever. Focus on how you feel, not just where you think you should be, okay? Trying to force change with your mind alone only leads to frustration. I've been there, I get it. Working hard but not seeing those results. Real transformation, it happens beneath the surface, not just in your thoughts, okay? If forcing affirmations doesn't work, well, then what does? Well, in my world, one of the most important keys is building a bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Instead of trying to force yourself into a belief that feels like a lie, you ease into it with a transitional belief. So, for example, instead of trying to jump from I have to hustle nonstop or I'll lose everything to clients come to me effortlessly, you start with something like I am learning that it's safe for me to slow down and still receive opportunities. See how that works? You're not fighting yourself. You're working with yourself. And because that new belief isn't so extreme, your brain is much more likely to accept it. And at the end of the day, your limiting beliefs aren't mistakes. They're not irrational. They were actually effective solutions that worked for a past version of yourself. The goal isn't to force yourself to think differently overnight. It's to recognize why those beliefs are there, what they've been protecting you from, and then finding a way forward that actually makes sense for you. So here's my challenge for you, okay? Instead of trying to force yourself into a belief that you don't fully trust yet, take a breath and ask, what belief has been protecting me? What has it given me? And what's one step forward that feels possible right now? The answers to those questions could be the beginning of the shift you've been looking for. So if this resonated with you, let me know. What's a belief you've been trying to shift? And if you're brave, drop it in the comments, okay? And if you want more real conversations about clarity and energy mastery solutions, stay tuned for more. And until next time, start bridging the gap between old beliefs and new possibilities.